How to be happy without going to a job you love or going to your dream job, right? How to be happy in a job that makes you feel miserable. Hey, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Edison, and welcome back to the Cliff Diver's Edge, where sometimes in life you're on the dirt's path and trail, looking, worrying, fearful, doubt, wishing you had support or a mentor, a coach, for just an inch of guidance before you spring off the perch 50 feet over the water. You walk to the cliff's edge, you hesitate, the adrenaline starts to pump, where you doubt, uncertainty, and those inner demons come out in full tilt, worrying, scared, panic, stuck. And that's where I come in. So welcome back to the Cliff Diver's Edge, taking you from unhappy to passionately, joyously happy within 30 days. Please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you get notified each and every time my new videos come out here on the Cliff Diver's Edge. And if you could do me a huge blessing, if you see the thumbs up, like button down there, go ahead and give it a high five. It lets the people at YouTube know that more people want to enjoy this content, and then they share it and it grows, and we support everyone and scale up everyone's life here in the group. Today, I'm going to tell you straight up how to be happy without going to a job you love or going to a job that's like your dream job, a dream that a job that makes you feel miserable or you hate the people and it's just like a negative culture there. That's what we're going to be talking about on how to exude your happiness. Now, for a second there, imagine standing at the edge of a rocky cliff, the waves crashing below, the sun is setting, casting a golden hue over the water. Your heart races, not from fear, but from the excitement and the anticipation of the dive and the plunge. You leap, and for those first few seconds, you feel completely alive, free from all worries and burdens. You might think this is kind of like a euphoria. It's only reserved for cliff divers or those who take the literal plunge into the cool, brisk waters. But what if I told you that you could experience the same kind of joy without ever setting foot outside of your day-to-day job, the day job you show up for every morning? Your daily routine, whether it's horrible or it's dark or cringy or for years you just hated going there. Well, today I'm going to tell you straight up on how to be happy without going to a job that you love or landing your dream job. Perhaps you're really passionate about certain things. Perhaps you haven't really found your focus or your purpose, right? Where every day you're giving back and you say, man, this is what I wanted to do for the last year, right? Maybe you're stuck, you're in a rut. Maybe you needed some help or guidance finding that. We're going to sort of do the opposite of today, and we're going to share with you ways and we can shine and become truly happy in our work day, right? In our work day, in our daily grind. The struggle is global, so let's talk about how global this dilemma is. First, let's acknowledge the reality that many people just dislike their jobs. They don't like it, they got into it, maybe it's just what they did to pay the bills and stuff like that. So in the United States alone, approximately 79 million Americans go to work every day feeling unfulfilled. And globally, that number soars to over 2 billion people, probably even more with some of the third world countries. These statistics aren't even just numbers. They represent real people, real souls. How alive our planet really is to live and enjoy every week, every month, right? People like you and me who spend a significant portion of their lives in jobs that don't ignite their passion, and they're sad, they're miserable, they're unhappy, and things like that, right? If we work 5 days a week, maybe 6 days a week, times that by the week, times that by the month, times that by the year, we're probably thinking at least 80% of our life put in for just buying like groceries or paying a mortgage or a rent, paying insurance or a car bill for your vehicle. You know, quite depressing. But does this mean we are doomed to unhappiness? So hopefully not. As counterintuitive as it might sound, happiness and job satisfaction are not as intertwined as we've been led to or we've been believed. Let's embark on a journey to discover how we can find happiness, even in a job that doesn't light your fire, right? It's just dull, and the grind just to get up out of bed and drive to work is a nightmare. Meet Carlos, a seasoned cliff diver from Acapulco, Mexico. Carlos didn't start diving because he loved the sport. He did it out of necessity. The locals hire divers in the area for tourists to bring up tips, to increase like food sales, all in the area of that little cove of Acapulco. His family needed the income, plain and simple. And cliff diving was a well-paying job in his town. Pays a lot more than just regular factory works. Now, at first, Carlo wasn't too thrilled. Right, it was just another job per se, just showing up to work. Just like all of us, right? Where you're showing up to work, going through the motions, day after day. So his family needed the income, and since the cliff diving community paid very well, every dive that Carlos had to do was sort of like a brush of death, right? He had to climb up on these little scales on the hills. His toes would have to grasp the dirt and the little edge, and then leap off, hopefully without slipping and stuff. So how did Carlos begin to find joy in that? Something that's sort of terrifying, almost like going to a factory job and you're trying to lift big engines and forklifts and metal and steel and stuff, right? And it's sort of like could threaten us for safety, long-term health. Maybe we do something to our knees, our back, and stuff. So what Carlos began to find a joy in is not the dive itself, but the moments leading up to it, sort of like the preparation and his rituals, his sort of habits that he would do, some of his stretches, some of his like push-ups and his cardiovascular. So the camaraderie with the other fellow divers, he started getting in tuned with, finding a little bit more support and building friendships with those other divers from there. So he started focusing on aspects of his job that he could control and enjoy. Right, leaping off the cliffs, not as much. Right, landing in the water, sometimes it's low tide, sometimes it's high tide. Sometimes the water's low, sometimes debris and other stuff get in on the edges of water. Who knows? I know when I was in Jamaica for Rick's Cafe diving, it's interesting, a world famous cliff diving spot. It wasn't like the cliff was here and the water went inside the cliff. It was like literally you jumped off and there was like rocks that even scaled. It was interesting, they couldn't take a big huge backhoe and get rid of it and safely. So that's why I loved a lot more different spots like Curacao and Cancun in Mexico, because of you can dive into the water, but you would never even worry about the rocks or what's right underneath you, right? You have to spring way out there. So Carlos started focusing on some of the aspects that he can control. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. How do we nitpick our job, our daily grind, and find some of the cool, intricate ways here on the Cliff Diver's Edge to get in there and find this crack? And once we find a crack, we can insert your passions, your hobbies, your likes, your interests, and how you can glow, right? Life changing how we can change this 8-hour or 10-hour shift to once that was miserable to now that's something that's joyous, something that's happy, something that's you look forward to. Carlos' example teaches us a valuable lesson, finding joy in the journey rather than the destination, right? He took a job. It was a well-paying job like we all do, right? We paid, okay, this job, we move, we get transferred to Chicago or Connecticut or something, right? And we take a job because it pays, $20, $30, $50,000 more than your last employment. Everything's good and good and good until you get in there into the culture, right? It's negative, right? They overwork you. They can care less. They don't say hello, right? You do a good job. They don't care. There's no appreciation and things like that. So even if your job isn't a dream job, and that's what we're talking about right today, even if your job isn't a dream job, there's elements within it that you can appreciate. So maybe it's the routine, the skills you develop, like Carlos, or the relationships you build. So each person has some different things that they could really focus on. By shifting your focus to these aspects, you can begin to find pockets of joy in your everyday work life, in your everyday grind. So once that was hitting the snooze button as long as you can because you hated the grind of getting into work at 6 or 7 in the morning, now turns into something you're looking forward to. Have you ever heard of the polar plunge, the ice plunge? It's a tradition in many parts of the world where people dive into freezing water during the summer, during the winter months, and go in and do like a submerge, right? And it sounds miserable, right? You're freezing. It's freezing cold water, but it's very, very breathtaking, right? It does a lot for your health, your vitality, and it boosts your endorphins. So usually 20 or 30 minutes after, and for a good few hours, it's almost like you're got a lot of coffee in you, right? You got all this energy. Your veins are just sort of glowing and stuff. It's almost like somebody kicked you in a good mood after an ice bath, but it's like freezing water. So for most, it sounds very, very miserable, right? Yet every year, thousands of people eagerly participate in it. Right? When I was down in Florida, we had a whole ice bath group. When we were in Texas, we had a whole ice bath group. People doing ice baths on the weekdays and the weekends. So people would say, why? Why would you do something that hurts us, that's cold, that we hate to do? But in the reflection, we all do it every day, right? We go to a job that we hate, almost like an ice bath, right? We jump in the ice bath. We hate the cold. It's freezing, right? It's almost like needles are just right, pinning you, right? So because of the discomfort of the cold plunge, it's often followed by a rush of endorphins and a profound sense of accomplishment. Wim Hof, if you know like ice baths, Wim Hof is the famous ice polar bear guy. So very popular for his ice plunges, his polar plunges. The enthusiast from, I believe it's Poland, says, he quotes on his ice bath and polar plunges, "I want to show everyone in the world that no matter how cold or how frigid it can get, the soul is the source of our happiness, strength, and health. Love actually comes from the soul and from the light, not from the outside elements." What a great quote from Wim Hof. diving into these ice baths week after week. We're teaching other people about breath holds and ice baths and why it's so important and fighting through that frigid cold. So let's apply this concept to the workplace, shall we? Your job might feel like a daily plunge into the icy waters, but it's possible to reframe the discomfort. Start by setting small, achievable goals for yourself. These goals don't have to be monumental. They can be as simple as completing a task you've been putting off or finding a way to streamline a tenacious project or like a process. Each small victory can trigger a release of endorphins, something you have accomplished, a high, a glow, giving you that rush of accomplishment and a boost of happiness. And as we continue in this video today, we're going to create some other endorphins inside your workplace that doesn't resolve around doing projects, accomplishing work, and things like that. So you're going to be really excited to stick around for that. So make sure you do. Make sure you stick around to the end to watch how we do that. Are you sad right now and have that firing, burning desire to become passionately happy? Are you looking to tear down the overgrown weeds that have plagued your life to discover your truest path and purpose so you can joyously dive in to your own glowing passion within 30 days? Well, hello, I'm Edison, and inside my metamorphosis from blurred to crystal clear Cliff Divers Edge Academy, I designed a place for you to find your passion and purpose within 30 days. It's for the people looking to take one step, just that small little step towards having a reason, finding and doing what you love, waking up with a zest and a radiance and a purpose and a reason and radiating the world with your light. And how cool is this? To ultimately give back, shine, and level up the family and friends around you. Inside the Academy answers the questions that men, women, husbands, fathers, wives, mothers, and all single people have about fears, worry, depression, no purpose, hating your job, in a rut, and so much, much more. Each section and module is filled with practical strategies you can use right away in your day to celebrate you and see it dramatically increase your own health, love, strength, and joyous radiance within 30 days. You are worth the work. To check out the program down below. We're talking about a lot of cool stuff for today, right? Wim Hof and that very powerful quote that he had as far as that inner light comes within, not from the person sitting across from us at our cubicle, not from the person shouting and barking out orders, not from the person that didn't say thank you for doing a great job. Things like that. Their inner light shines from within. So let's talk about an anchor. An anchor is a psychological term in something that triggers a particular emotional state. And by creating a positive anchor, you can transform your workday. You've probably heard of anchors from all over, from different psychological people, even like Tony Robbins. But think about this little things that make you happy. What are some of the little things that just make you happy? Is it good food? Is it like doing puzzles? Is it like doing hair and doing hair and makeup? There's tons of things. But think for a second right here as I have you on our video and we're talking together. What are the little things that make you happy? Right? What are the things that bring out a smile in you? Think about the little things that make you happy. And what we're going to do is we're going to find ways to incorporate them into your workday routine. Okay, we're going to try to incorporate what we were talking about before, those little cracks. We're going to find some of the little cracks. We're going to incorporate them into your 8 or 10 hour workday. So take Emily. She was a swimmer, right? She found a solace in the water. Emily worked a desk job and she found monotonous and draining, too draining, right? But she loved swimming because it made her feel alive, and she always loved the water, and it connected to her body and her mind and everything. Plus it was physical, right? Swimming and working and and moving your arms and shoulders and stuff. So Emily started bringing the elements of her swimming routine into her workday, and that's what we're talking about. We're trying to find these cracks. How can you implement swimming in your 8 or 10 hours, right? It might be something you're saying, well, it's impossible. You might be thinking, well, how did she do that? Now your brain's thinking. Now your brain's thinking, and that's why I'm glad you're here on the cliff diver's edge, right? I want to make sure your life is full of happiness and passion, whether you hate a job you go to for years or you go to a job that you just love and it's your dream job, right? But first of all, she kept a small bowl of water on her desk. So that was one of the things. She liked water, so she kept a small little bowl of water on her desk, which she would just dip her fingers in, right? If she feels stress or if she just wanted to touch or like do the drops of water. The coolness of the water reminded her of the pool or swimming and getting on her hat and her goggles, and sort of provided a brief moment of peace and clarity throughout work. What are things that you can do like that? What are things that you can find and put in and find that little crack? See how she found that little crack? She put that little bowl of water on her desk. She could dip into it anytime. Or you could do tons of things. You probably find a little figure, right? A guy or a girl like swimming. She probably put it in the water. She then found a local recreation center that had open lap swim hours during her lunchtime, which she now goes to 3 times a week, right? So once again, finding that crack, using your resources, what's around, rec centers, gyms, who has a pool, right? Anybody have hours I could try to get in during my lunch? So now she's swimming 3 times during lunch. How does that break your work? So let's just say you're doing 10-hour shifts. So 5 hours into your shift or 4 hours into your shift, right? You're hating your job. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Or 4 hours in, you're thinking, haha, 10 minutes to go, and I'm going to be swimming for 30 minutes, right? How exuding is that? Same thing with Tuesday, Wednesday, right? But also when you come back for swimming, it's like you have another 4 hours, but you're on a high from your swimming. Sometimes finding resources around your loves and hobbies is really what it's about. Just trying to find your resources and incorporating them into your work routine makes a tremendous shift in your endorphins, your mindset, and your daily, weekly, and yearly work. How about even coming home from a long day at work to your partners or your kids, and you're on a high, and that's all you talk about is swimming. And you enjoyed your 30 minutes of swimming inside of your dreaded job that you went for. How cool is that? How uplifting. You can find your own anchors, or maybe your favorite songs, a photo of a loved one, a piece of artwork, or even a particular scent of incense or candles. That could be a trigger for you during work. These are small triggers that can help you reset your mood and bring a bit of joy and love into your day. A client of mine, Steven, was going through some rough times last summer on a work transfer that had totally gone downhill. Solution? We worked together in his 2 hobbies. And what were we putting together? We were working on his hobbies, and we were working through his lists of contacts or resources. Some of his hobbies were racquetball and biking. So he was calling and connecting with the landlord and local people right around where he worked, business owners and stuff. Sure enough, it turns to be that the landlord not only allowed him to play racquetball against the side or the middle of his wall for the building, the landlord funded the paint and the cement needed to fix the concrete and make it like a safe racquetball court. And then for his biking, he researched all these low end like folding bicycles, which he could just like lift and lock in the in an employee's break room, and then he can take and go for a bike ride, any lunch that he wanted. Right, he was locked up at work, but lunchtime he would go out and ride his bike. Took two of his passions and hobbies, found some cracks, right? Racquetball, right? If so many buildings, somebody is gonna allow you to like hit and play racquetball for 10 or 15 minutes during lunch. Somebody's going to. Get me through all the no's. It don't matter. We'll ask somebody. Somebody's gonna say, sure, I don't care. That building right there, yeah. Can I paint some lines on it? Absolutely. Go for it. The biking, great, right? Maybe they didn't allow like a bike in the employee break room, but he researched these small folding bicycles that he was put in his thing, and a few times during the week, during lunch, he's out riding his bike. A break from his monotonous job and his work, or the negative culture of corporate America. Check this out, everyone. Perspective is everything. Now, I've known John for a while. He's in like the sanitation worker, like downtown. So his job was very physically demanding, but also very like thankless, it didn't really serve a purpose. Through the Cliff Diver's Edge and the Academy, we began to choose to see things differently for him. So we started just outlining certain things and perspectives and focusing on different things through his job. And what started to come from one or two things started piling into all these papers and little books of what he enjoyed doing and things, which took weeks or months to put together. But John started taking a different approach, and his approach started to shift, which was really, really great to see, right? So he started a small group, the people that prided in keeping the city clean and safe for its residents. So he put together a little Friday evening after work type of project. And it was a small group, but they met on every Friday, and they helped to clean up the city, whether it was like trash on the roads or a little building or different things or whatever their things was. But he viewed his role as different, and that's what was really cool about this one. He had a dead-end job. He hated it. It was purposeless, but finding something to do on Fridays, how amazing is that? Finding something to do on Fridays. So now you're thinking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you can get through the grind. But already Wednesday and Thursday, you're thinking, oh, what are we doing Friday? What are we doing Friday? Oh, you're doing this. Oh, we got this building. Oh, we got to take out these broken windows or this graffiti from this gang and stuff. So Monday, all week, at a pointless job that months ago he was depressed. He was, what do I do? Right? He's stressed, not really stressed out, but like purposeless, like no meaning, depressed. Life goes on. Transformed into looking forward to Fridays with his crew. Not only that, transforming the city. And some of the little parks and the curbs and the trash areas, getting rid of things that were maybe built up by the homeless and cleaning things up. These little shifts in perspective allowed John to find purpose, and much purpose it became, right? Becoming more of a city project in satisfaction in his work, despite being depressed and seeing a reason for life and work. What a transformation in energy, liveliness, meaning, and purpose. If you were to see him in the shopping center today, like right now, he'd be like a totally different person than when you seen him 5 or 6 months ago. Amazing. And that's what we're talking about for today. Finding those cracks, finding your likes, your hobbies, your passions, your things that you really enjoy doing. Let's just say you like cooking. Maybe it's somehow finding some way to do some cooking during your work, during your lunch, maybe before, so you get in there a little early and do something cooking. Maybe it's painting. We're just incorporating some different resources into your workplace. Now, you can apply the same shift in perspective to your own job and ask yourself, how does your work contribute to the bigger picture? How does it help others? Now, if you can't find any answers on that, if you can find a small crack in what your company does to what is missing in like the service to its customers, this could indeed blossom into your greatest passion and greatest like fulfillment. Like if your company does this, and this, but you notice, hey, they don't offer this, for like pets, or they don't offer, like little, like the mittens now and stuff for cold weather for dogs and cats, or the little jackets and stuff for dogs and cats now are pretty popular, right? They don't offer this. Perhaps that can blossom into a greatest passion, right? Finding something that your employer doesn't do for his customers, and finding that, path and purpose. One's personal attitude can influence the entire workplace. So let's talk about Sarah. She's a nurse. She worked long, grueling hours, long shifts, very busy hospital. And Sarah is known for her positive attitude and infectious smile. But for years of negative shifts and like a cold environment and a non-caring doctors and arguing patients started to really tear down on her, right? What's my purpose? Why am I here? So we started outlining different paths for her to try and to test, to use her gifts to add in the positivity to her floor. Right? So she started doing these little things and trying these little things or testing these just to see how things would go. So she made little post-it notes. She made even cards and signs if someone came back from a leave or a vacation. And this started to catch on. And in fact, as the new hires started phasing out the many angry nurses or the negative nurses or the people that always complained about, started phasing in these new people that caught on to her patterns of support and little gifts. So they in tune started giving Sarah some notes and some flowers when she came back from I think it was like her vacation, or was it a wedding or something, or her birthday. So this started catching on, this positivity that really excited her, right? She was always like this person that says, how can I make somebody else's day? How can I brighten up someone's days? These little gifts and candies and little like pens and always thinking about others, right? So Sarah's positivity created a ripple effect. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, as we go through this video. The ripple effect, right? Transforming the hospital's atmosphere and boosting the morale of her colleagues, right? It doesn't happen fast. It usually is ridiculed or fought against very quickly. But her consistency and her pure joy outlasted the negative ones, right? The ones that were either, transferred or quit or whatever, right? In the cliff diving, we call this throwing a rock. And when you're 50 or 60 feet over the water, ready to do a dive, a diver throws a rock. And hopefully it has some good weight to it. You can't do just a little pebble, right? We want to throw a rock and we want it to hit the water so it sort of softens the water and ripples almost like a hole. So when we enter the water, it's not as hard and impactful. If we not straight and we're off a little bit, we could get injured. That's gonna soften it. So She did what we call it at the hospital a ripple, right? A ripple effect. Starts small. People are negative. People don't like it. People go, oh, well, it does right. But she does it over and over and over. The new hires get weeded out and phased out, and then now you have new people doing what she's doing. Now you have an uplifting and a positive crew or a floor or a hospital. So we're talking about a cliff diver throwing a rock, right? We throw it just a few moments, maybe a second or two, right? We're ready to do our dive. We're prepared. We mentally got it here. Okay, here we go. Here goes the rock, and then I leap up and jump, right, and spring off. And what this does is, number one, it softens the water, right? It spreads out the water. Number two, it ripples the water around where the diver's going to go in. So it ripples it and it, makes a hole, right? And number three, it breaks the water from the surface all the way down to the bottom, creating this hole and this what we call like a ripple, because it starts small and then it spreads, and as the diver dives in there, right, like I said, it's softer and it's almost like a hole you're like diving in. So that's the power of her ripple and how she added that to her floor of nurses and the hospital. You have to have the power to create a similar ripple effect in your workplace. Small acts of kindness, maybe words of encouragement, and a positive attitude can make a significant difference. By fostering a supportive and uplifting environment, you not only enhance your own happiness, but also contributes to the well-being of those around you. Take the examples of Carlos and Emily and Stephen and John and find something unique, something that you like, something that maybe you've always enjoyed doing since you were a kid, right? Something different and exciting to mix into your workday. And I know your pain of going to jobs you hate, and you feel miserable. You feel like, what am I doing here? And developing and instilling your anchor will be a huge, huge shift from now moving forward. I remember I was in Los Angeles, and I had tons of different jobs, all different jobs I really didn't like and hated, all pretty much just to pay the bills. But one particular place, I found a rec center. Through the little city, and it had a 1 meter and a 3 meter diving board. And boy, did I have fun that summer for those 2 or 3 months when that pool was open on my lunch hour. I'd speed over there, get over there, and hit the pool. So finding something like that can exude not only your passion and your purpose, but also when you come home from work, the passion and purpose you share with your wife, your husband, and your children, your pets, and that kind of stuff. What a shift. What a shift. Picture Carlos from earlier on the breathtaking cliff, overlooking the ocean, the wind whipping through his hair, fearful, scared, doesn't like or even enjoy doing dangerous dives for 8 to 10 hours, but the pay is worth it for his family. Now picture yourself arriving at your workplace. Can you bridge the gap between these two realities? Absolutely. Here are some happiness triggers or anchors you can sort of set or to inject joy into your workday. Create a sensory oasis, like a scented candle, if like the office policy allows it. Play some uplifting music. I know some people have their little boxes for their USB, playthings. Headphones. Keep a small plant on your desk. These sensory cues can anchor a positive feeling throughout the day. Embrace the power of power poses. This is a great one, and we talk about for any type of work or daily routine. Instead of sitting, we're standing. Power poses, especially in front of the mirror. Take a few deep breaths, stand tall, smile, even if it feels forced at first, right? And studies show that the confident body postures can actually boost your mood. Not only that, can actually get you through some of the things that you don't even think you're difficult in doing. Some of those poses. Connect with colleagues. Even a quick chat about last night's game or a funny cat video can create a sense of camaraderie and well-belonging with other coworkers, right? Schedule micro breaks for movement. Maybe you're into yoga, maybe you're into stretching, maybe you're into water fasting and intermittent fasting. We're just taking water. So take a short walk around the office. Find the floors and stuff. Take a little short walk around the office. A lot of people like to get their steps in. Now, how many steps did you get in? I just got in 500 steps because I just went up the floor, down, up the stairs, down the stairs, and then I went, through finance and through accounting, right? Physical activity is a proven mood booster. So plan something fun at work. How about doing this? How about doing something creative, like setting up a little ping pong or a Jenga puzzle or something like that at work, where everyone can look forward to or do on that. Sometimes it's fun. Years ago, I remember being in somebody's workplace, and they had beanbag chairs, the beanbag throwing, and something else. Was it chess? Something I thought you had to throw. Was it the stand-up bowling? I don't know. It was something, but it was for the employees, right? It was just using different things to say, wow, this was fun, right? With a little break. Whether it's games with friends, whether it's pottery, maybe it's like a book club. I know some people have started little book clubs too within their business, when they're in their company. It breaks the monotony and keeps you motivated. And that's what we're doing here today, right? Take your hobbies and find the holes and cracks in your work schedule to fit them in, fill them in, right? To full them, I should say, full them in, right? We're making them full into your day. So when you're leaving work, you're saying, man, I had a fun day today. Wow. In the last 5 years, I've never had a fun day like this. We played Jenga and we played ping pong, right? Or I found that swimming pool at the rec center, or 24-hour fitness, and I got my first 20-minute swim in during lunch. Whoa! Before we end today, I wanted to add a personal challenge to you. Yes. A challenge, okay? So this is not a watch and do nothing video. So one of those things like watch the video and you move on to the next one type of video. Nope, not for this one. This is going to go a little deeper. For you. So this one's going to be working your hobbies into your workday. And it's going to be what I call a week or a 5-day challenge. Your path to transformation, a 5-day work week challenge. Are you up for it? Comment down below your challenge, how you're going to find some cracks in your work schedule and throw in your loves, passions, and hobbies, okay? To help you integrate these strategies into your daily life, I challenge you to a 1-week 5-day happiness transformation. I want to hear everyone, and I want to see everyone's messages and comments as the days progress here on the channel. I want to see everyone what they instilled, what cracks they found, and what they did to brighten their once gloomy workday, right? So number 1, self-reflection and goal setting. Spend time reflecting on what brings you joy and fulfillment, and set 3 personal goals to squeeze something into your workday over the next 1 to 4 days. I don't want to say 5 days because you're already thinking Friday and you're already thinking it's the weekday, right? So 1 to 4 days, right? So it's, make that happen. And like, wow, Yes, and I'm so excited for you. I want to see all your comments and all your transformations and all your before and afters down below. I'm super excited for you. Number 2, gratitude and mindfulness. Start a gratitude journal and write down 3 things that you're thankful for each day at work, especially if we're incorporating this. You're saying, like, man, I'm so grateful for listening to Cliff Diver's Edge today, giving me a resource on how I could integrate my hobbies, likes, passions, and loves into my 10-hour grind where I hate going to work and I hate even being at work, but to transform me. So this one, just write 3 gratitude things. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful that I set up a plant next to my desk. I'm grateful for, whatever it is. It could be even grateful for the company that you work for even, offering you and having you work for them, being employed for them in the bigger scheme of things. So practice mindfulness for at least, a few minutes each day. Number 3, we're building connections and growth. So number 3 on this challenge is reach out to a colleague and express appreciation for their work. That's number 3. Reach out to a colleague or send them a little note. I noticed, right? I appreciate this. I seen that you did this, and this amazing job. What would we do without you? When we recognize the people around us, it starts to bring out this glow from other people around us. I remember all the time I'll take somebody that's grumpy or grouchy and I'll try to highlight them somehow. You did this. You did this. I think one of the biggest things in life is people like to be recognized, right? People like to be seen, like to be appreciated for their hard work, their focus, their great job, their skill set, whatever it is. So usually when I did this to people that were like grumpy or, argumentative and stuff, you could see that little shift in body language and that little shift of love, I should say, right? Love. He's like, oh, that person actually thanked me. So do more of that. That was, I believe, number 3, right? Building those connections, identifying people around you and highlighting somehow. It could be a little note. It could be a letter. It could be just even like, telling them and telling them, hey, come over here, and acknowledging them. Number 4 we're going to be working on is for this 5-day challenge is celebrating wins and creating a positive environment. Celebrating a small win each day, whether it's completing a task or making progress on a goal. So let's just say you found your few hobbies, you found that crack you want to do, and then the first day you tried to do the crack and it doesn't really work out. You wanted to bike ride on your lunch. Something happened, it didn't work. Congratulate yourself, first of all, for acknowledging your love and your passion and what really triggers you. And second of all, give yourself effort and kudos for at least, having the bike there and trying to do your bike ride, right? A lot of times when we try to do something right off, right, there's usually challenges and hiccups and things that won't, and, things that get in the way and stuff. And that's the way life just hands us those challenges, right? But day after day, you're going to do it, right? So make sure you celebrate your wins. Small little things, right? Maybe you put up a little Jenga, thing somewhere on your floor or like in your at your workspace, and it was lost, it was stolen, something, right? Just give yourself kudos for that first step, right? Don't be down on yourself and don't do the negative. Just celebrate your win. And do it again, right? Do another and another, and just build those habits. So just celebrating your wins. Add a personal touch to your workspace that brings you joy, right? Could be a plant, could be incense, could be something. So do that, or finding the crack and putting something in. So by following this 1 week, this 5-day work challenge, you could begin to transform your outlook and experience great happiness regardless of how horrible your job is, how bad the low income area is, how negative your colleagues and bosses are, or how pessimistic your managers are, or how overworking they are. Remember Wim Hof. I want to show everyone in the world that no matter how cold or how frigid it can get, the soul is the source of our happiness, strength, and health. Love actually comes from the soul, from the light, not from the outside elements. So number one, self-reflection, making sure we find what you like and enjoy. Number two was gratitude. Number three was building that connection of growth, just reaching out to individuals that you never either said hi to or say, wow, I really like this and this and this. Number four, we're celebrating your small wins. And that was your challenge. So take the plunge and dive into the depths of your workday with a renewed sense of purpose and joy. Just like the cliff diver, the swimmer, and those who brave the polar plunge, you too can find exhilarating and happiness in your daily grind or in your work journey. Your happiness is within reach. All it takes is the courage to embrace it, to find it, full it in there. Make your day full of that. I'll be watching your comments and updates and videos down below. I'm super excited for your before and after and all your comments. I want to see for myself your happiness shifts amongst the workplace. One of the most unwavering paths to finding your ikigai, your purpose, your significance is to master the art of carving out your own beauty and shining through the imperfections. This journey is a testament to your determination to shape your destiny, and it's a pursuit that leads you to the profound wellspring of passion and purpose in your life. I've taught hundreds of individuals and organizations how to zero in on their truest, most passionate meaning of life, going from once cloudy, murky hurricane of confusion to horse racing, blinders on, full tilt, zing, adore, zeal, ear to ear, smiling in and out of throughout life. You are worth the work and love to hop inside the Cliff Diver's Edge metamorphosis from blurred to crystal clear academy and get started in the link below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this beautiful Cliff Diver's Edge channel. If you found this video helpful and useful, please comment below. I love hearing from you, and share it with those friends among you. I hope the impact of this community has shifted you in many ways and shaped your life in a different direction. I'll enjoy spending the next video with you. We'll see you then.